It is Monday morning and Miss Marbles is in the staff room making a cup of coffee when two other teachers whom she doesn't know very well walk in. I saw that kid Will, the one that has been suspended 3 times this year, at the supermarket. He wasn't even with his parents. I think it was his older sister, and they looked homeless. No shoes and dirty clothes. The other teacher groans, Ugh, Will Price, he's an absolute nightmare in class, always being disruptive, and I can't count the number of times he has threatened to throw a chair at me and other students. It's pretty scary. Miss Marbles decided to ask one of her colleagues that she had become friends with since starting at the school about Will Price. I heard some teachers talking this morning about a student called Will Price. Do you know much about him? Oh, yes. He comes from a rough family background. They don't have much money. The father had a bad drug problem. He's in rehab now, which is a good thing because I think he used to be violent. The mother isn't around much either, always working long hours. Oh my goodness, that is terrible. Poor Will. Another teacher overheard the conversation and chimes in. Yeah, you would almost feel bad for the kid if he wasn't such a dropkick. You can't really blame him though. He obviously acts out at school to get some attention because he's not getting any at home. Definitely one of those kids who will end up working at McDonald's for the rest of his life. Miss Marbles was shocked at what she had heard. She could not stop thinking about Will and all of the teachers' negative opinions of him. She thought about what she had learned at university and came to the conclusion that this was a real-life example of a student stuck in a deficit discourse. Miss Marbles remembered reading an article by Comer and Kamler, who argued that one of the biggest failures of education was that deficit discourses are still so dominant in schools and how teachers contribute to maintaining these discourses through language and actions. Will's social and economic background was predetermining his achievement in school, and the teachers were reinforcing this deficit discourse by using it as a justification for his poor behaviour and capabilities. Miss Marbles decided she wanted to help Will detach himself from this deficit discourse. She knew that each student brings with them to school a virtual school bag, which is a set of valuable skills, knowledge, and experience that a student has learned from outside school through family, friends, work, or even hobbies. Pat Thompson claims that each student's virtual school bag is unique. However, the schooling system values some virtual school bags over others. In this case, Will's virtual school bag was not known nor valued by teachers, and Miss Marbles wanted to find out what skills and knowledge Will did have. The next day, Miss Marbles was walking down the corridor and noticed Will sitting on the ground outside the classroom. This was the perfect opportunity to talk to him. Miss Marbles introduced herself to Will and began to ask him some questions and was surprised at how open he was. During the conversation, Miss Marbles discovered that Will was a hands-on learner. He taught himself to play the guitar when he was 9, but stopped playing when the string broke and he was unable to get a new one. He liked to ride his skateboard on the weekends and very much enjoyed being outdoors most of the time. Will dislikes reading and writing, as he said he finds it boring. The only time he will read is when his sister buys him a skateboard magazine as a treat on occasion. Will also loves watching superhero movies and sometimes even draws his own superheroes with unique powers. Armed with all this useful information, Miss Marbles scheduled a meeting with the Year 8 head teacher and some other executives to discuss a plan for getting Will engaged in his learning. At the meeting, Miss Marbles pitched 3 strategies. 1. When possible, structure content around Will's interests. 2. When possible, give Will options of different methods to complete a task, particularly a hands-on method such as building or creating. 3. Depending on Will's behaviour, allow him to play guitar in the music room at lunchtime twice a week. All of Will's teachers were informed of the new strategies, and over the next couple of months there was a noticeable improvement. In English, Will wrote an information report on a professional skateboarder. In maths, Will was using Lego to learn about area, perimeter, and capacity of 3D shapes. In geography, Will created his own city and designed a topographic map of the geographical features. Miss Marbles had also been supervising Will's visit to the music room, and she thought it was really helping him perceive school as a safe and positive space where he could participate in activities he enjoyed, such as playing guitar.